Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the village board meeting of June 13th. Roll call.
Caprows.
Here.
Possession.
Here.
Giannotti.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Stacy.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
You have the minutes in your packet from the last meeting. Does anyone have any changes or additions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Caprows.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Giannotti.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the board?
Yes. I have
Mr.
a
Scudero.
request. Would it be possible to move the porta john away from the cancer memorial? It's right there next to it. Can't you move it down by the third baseline away? Get it away from everybody coming in that driveway for, you like the memorial, you see the porta john. Just a request.
Alright.
Easy to take care of.
Everybody looks at parks. Village clerk's report.
The total tax income received in the month of May totals $388,195.26. We received a large payment for income tax in May of $149,601. I think Bob had looked into it and they were catching up with corporate income
There's
tax.
3 years of catch-up there
Yeah.
that they found. They're sweeping their accounts.
Yeah, so that was a nice surprise. I also need to know from the board members who's going to be riding the parade this year, so I can order candy. And I won't be helping to decorate, so we'll need somebody in charge of that too, because I'll be tied up on parade registration at that time.
Chief, do you need your new golf cart for that parade? Can they use it for the parade? Okay. That's what I thought. You got 6 seats there, so the odd man out has to walk.
I can't.
Not it.
Which
I
will
can't-
not be me.
I can't be in
So I
the
see your-
parade because I gotta help with the parade, so I can't be in it, so there
Well,
you go.
the thinking is, if you don't know what the weather's gonna be that day, but you could have 2 people walking, handing out candy, and the rest in the cart, you guys just alternate, switch off.
Since we never throw candy.
I don't wanna hear that.
We never throw candy.
So let me know as soon as you can so that I can
I won't be there.
figure that out.
Just
You
throw it.
You ready? Okay.
They're meeting
I mean, I'll
here,
be there, but I won't be.
I would say meet here at what, 3 o'clock, decorate your float, and then get to L.A. Miller by 3:45.
Okay.
Alrighty. Is that all?
That's all I have.
Okay. Reports of village commissions, beautification commission.
Mr. Connor's not here tonight, but the hanging baskets did go up in the old part of town. And I believe flowers were delivered to Fireman's Park and put in, correct?
Yep, they're at the memorial, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. 4th of July commission, trustee Kraus.
4th of July is 3 weeks from today, so it's right around the corner. The next meeting is 6:30, or not, next meeting is June 30th. And so far as I know, Joe's everything's just plugging away, getting ready for the 4th and get everything together.
How's car sales going? Pretty good?
Car raffle sales are doing very well, so online sales are going well, so are what's so far been turned in pre-sales, so looks like it's shaping up to be a good year. So.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Youth commission, trustee session.
Thank you. Kickoff the summer event was held on June 4th at Fireman's Park. They had a lot of activities for the kids and a Pick First fundraiser for the BYC. Event was well attended. A lot of kids had a good time, it seemed like. Thanks to the Beecher Lions who donated hamburgers and served food. I hear it was over 270.
273, I heard.
273. Very nice. So it was a good time. Next meeting for the BYC is June 21st at 7:30 p.m.
Okay. Historic preservation commission, trustee Kaporis.
So I guess we're looking for another cleanup date for the basement floor. So I think we'll be still trying to iron out a date on that. Did anything?
They were trying to get a cleanup date, and it's just for the
They want
basement, because
open.
there's a lot of dirt and stuff in the basement. I think they wanna try and get it open around, for the 4th of July, since there'll be a lot of people in the area, so.
So this one's just moving. We're not getting rid of anything.
No, it's the floor, is covered with dirt, it's been disinfected from, you know, any mold or anything like that, and some general cleanup and organization needs to be done, but mostly the dirt and that, and some of the members of the organization, I don't think should be exposed to some of this, that dirt and stuff.
Yeah, we'll work with see if we can get Public Works out there.
Yeah, I told them it was unlikely with Public Works because of the 4th of July, so,
Yeah,
If you guys do it on a weekend or something, I thought we'd try to get down there.
yeah, I told him to try and, if he would give me an idea that I could see if I could get some people out there.
okay. We'll see if maybe we can get a few trustees and just take care of it ourselves without having to drag the Public Works into it. Shouldn't be a heavy lift, it's,
It's more just cleaning,
yeah, mopping and
shouldn't take real long.
dusting. Okay, that's all I
Okay.
got.
All right. Under my report, there's actually nothing listed, but I did speak to All Right Signs today. And it does not seem that we will be able to get the sign up by 4th of July. I was hoping, but, you know, she warned us that we may not get parts. The top portion is in, a lot of the parts for the rest are in, but the sign board itself, she says, even if it came in, it would be so close, they'd be scrambling, so it's not gonna go up before the 4th. But I'll update you when I hear anything else from her. Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Kaforis.
Consider a motion approving the treasurer's report. Donna?
The May end amount for the village accounts, $465.60. The month end for the commission accounts, $189,725.83. The total of all combined, $3,629,191.43. The May month end in general, $935,221.06. The commission non-AP payments for the month of May totaled $496,923.72. In that total, there was the final payment for the splash pad of $54,314.20 and $168,124.50 to Brandt Excavating for the lead line replacement. Other than that, pretty standard
I believe
payments.
the village board approved those two.
Yeah, those were all pre-approved. I just point them out because there's something different on the,
We would never pay a
The
bill of
report.
that size with a board.
oh gosh, no, those were pre-approved. And if there are no questions, that would end my report.
Alright, I'll go ahead and make a motion approving the treasurer's report for the month prior.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second?
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Possession,
Yes.
Capros.
Yes. Variance reports are enclosed for review. Consider a motion approving the bills and payroll for the previous month. A few changes, additions, since they were emailed out. 4 bills came in for Constellation Energy, 243.43, 2466.66, 2071.37, 672.92. Laner Muchin, 11,365.25. Sander Service, that was just it's a different amount, was caught. Correct amount is 149.91. Petty cash for the village hall, 59.40 in receipts. And Will County Treasurer taxes on the Church Road parcel, 1388.12, that was in the bills, it was just a slightly different amount. If there's any questions on the bills, I'll go ahead and make a motion approving the bills for the month of May.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second?
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Capros,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes. Before, is there various reports in here, am I missing?
No, they were run last week, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Because it was end of year, fiscal year.
Finance Committee meets with potential financial underwriter and bond counsel for GO bond referendum in the fall. The committee met with David Pistorius, First Mid State, and discussed the potential of being the village's bond underwriter or agent, and closes a scenario of how the bond issue would look. And by Monday night's meeting, a new scenario will be provided showing the 1% increase. Bob, do we have those?
Yes, they are in your packet.
They're in this?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought I changed the wording of it, but the three scenarios are in the back.
They're all in here? Okay. Yeah, he got it to us the next day, right after the
Yep.
meeting. The first scenario shows a 1% increase in EAV per year. The one that they came to the meeting with showed 0 increase in total EAV over 20 years, which is, I mean, worst case scenario, that's very unlikely to happen. We've been averaging, what, over the last 5 years?
2%.
Yeah. So we had them do one showing 1%, and then there's a second one showing 2%. Right now, we've run the 3 scenarios on a $4 million bond issue. Those are enclosed. The current interest rate on these bonds would be 4.53. That's changing daily, as we know. The goal right now is to keep the tax rate increase below 30 cents per $100 of assessed value, which would mean at or below $232.65 per year for a home value to add $235. The cost of issuance on a $4 million would be $121,500, and if the referendum fails, no fees would be paid. Anyone have any questions on this? As far as the process or steps or anything like that? So, the referendum question has to be approved by August 21st. So we're gonna target the second meeting of July to approve that. And that would authorize the referendum. So I guess the most important thing is making sure that we have a quorum. If there's anybody that's had, you know, as long as nobody has any vacations planned or anything like that that'd be missing, we can fluctuate it, but that's our goal, is to get that, that authorization, get that referendum question passed by, second meeting of July.
And bond counsel writes the questions, basically,
Yeah,
To
so
refer-
it's,
for referral.
the way he explained it to us was that it's a pretty standard thing. Obviously, we would have Tim look it over, our
Just
own
plug
attorney.
and play with the Village of Beecher.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, so,
Yeah, one thing we probably wanna do next meeting is retain bond counsel and the
Yes.
financial consultant. Tonight, we were supposed to figure out if everyone was comfortable with
it's,
that.
yeah, and that's where we're at. So, I mean, everybody saw it last month, right? We had basically proposals from everybody. First Mid State is by far the most experienced. We saw how many were around in Illinois in 21, how many of them they handled. I think we were all comfortable with them. After meeting them in person, David Pistorius, he's very experienced at this. Real good guy, real easy going. I did like that he came to us with worst case scenario, rather than trying to come to us with all these, you know, high increases in EAV, you know. When he came to us, he showed a 0% increase over 20 years. He wanted us to see absolute worst case scenario, bare bottom, which, you know, I think everybody here is pretty comfortable. I know I'm very comfortable. We did have some questions on how it would affect the TIF district, and we were comfortable with the answers there. We think we still got a little more research to do on that, making sure that that's all in line. I mean, it is what it is. It's nothing on our decisions, but and how that
Does it
affects.
just affect the amount we could take out or put in for the
Pardon?
TIF? Does it affect the amount we could give out for the TIF?
No.
Okay.
Apparently, TIF funds are only paid on changes in EAV, not what you levy for tax for bonds.
Yes.
What we would do.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's still,
Yeah, I mean,
I think we still need to issue.
yeah, we're still gonna see increase outside of the TIF district in the total EAV, so. Over those years, and I mean, I think it was right there at about the 30 cents, I think that was our goal, and it's significantly less than 30 cents figuring on the schedule that he showed us with the 1% increase per year and the 2% increase per year. But like Bob said, I think our first step is as long as everybody's comfortable, that we'll go ahead and put that on next month's, agenda to retain them as our bond counsel and agent, underwriting agent.
The underwriting agent will not charge you anything if the referendum fails. The bond counsel will charge you for fees incurred up to the time of the bond referendum. So if the referendum does fail, it's not at a significant expense to the taxpayer.
No, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was, so there was, the total came to $121,000. And there was two portions of that, which was the rating and the insurance, right? And those were the two things that were kind of would be billable. I think one was like 11,000 maybe, and the other one was like 17,000 or something like that. Or maybe it was 17,000 total between the two of what those expenses would be. So that's what could come to us at the end, and Tim pointed that out in there. But like I said, I'm real comfortable with them. We gotta select a bond counsel, and so, like I said, as long as everybody's comfortable with that, I think it's, for our next meeting, we'll go ahead and look at having First Mid-State and get that approved, and then, once that's done, then we can begin the process for the next meeting in July, having that referendum question ready for approval.
They did our bond issue in 2009 on the Public Works Garage. They built a call in the 10th year, and when that 10th year came in, it was 2017. The interest rate dropped from 5.5% to 2.5%. We were able to save the taxpayers 3 points and spread that levy out across the next 15 years at a flat $88,000 a year.
Yeah.
They built that in there, and they reminded us that it was in there when it was time to call.
Yeah.
We'll do the same
So
here.
there will be a call placed into this one also.
Yeah, so if the rates are high when we do this, which is a concern right now, you'll have a call option anywhere between years 5 and 10,
And,
where you could recall.
and those were some of the questions we asked, right, is to where you put that call option in, how soon? With rates being high, do you look for something sooner? Do you look for something at the 5-year range? And he explained to us how the different banks and stuff will look at that when they decide to purchase the bonds and what kind of rates you get to begin with, where it's maybe a little more advantageous and get something better right out the gate if you go for a later call in the 7 to 10 range. That was his suggestion point for us, but we did ask, where do you put the call in? Where do you build it into this? Do you build it in at 5 years? Do you build it in at 10? He's comfortable somewhere in the 7 to 10, so I mean, as we get going here and you move and it passes and you actually go to sell the bonds, those are decisions that'll need to be made at that point.
Under a general obligation bond issue, you're allowed one call, which is one refinance, and it's gotta be somewhere in the 5 to 15-year range, and you have to decide where you can put that. And that allows you to refi at a lower interest rate.
Is that like a 1-year window? Do you get a 3-year window for that? Like when,
No,
say I want a year 10, it's gotta be within that 10th year? Or
after that year, I think.
After,
Okay.
I believe that's,
Yes.
those were some of the things like we asked, like, can you put it in a window and it's not, you call it a year and it's after that year is complete, I think is what he
You could
said.
call it at any time after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The issue though is the shorter time frame. If you put a 5-year call in there, they're gonna charge you more interest up front because they're only guaranteed that interest for 5
Yeah,
years.
because they're gonna want their money, whoever.
Yeah, so it's a
further I put
crapshoot.
it, the more they're gonna get that. If we stick with them the first 10 years, they'll get the money instead of going somewhere else, so.
So, but these are all things that from what I understand from what Dave was saying is those are the decisions we made, once we get this referendum passed and you actually go to sell the bonds.
A lot of things can change in 6 months with the
Yeah,
rates.
yeah, so I mean, basically, once that referendum passing, that just authorizes us, the residents authorize us to go ahead and do it. And then at that point is when, the board will have a decision to make as to all that. So, everybody, general consensus on that, move forward next month, put it on the agenda to move forward with David and First Mid-State.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we'll do. One more point too, just because you ask the voters to authorize a certain dollar amount of bonds. You don't have to issue that many dollars of bonds, you issue what you need.
Yeah.
But you have to have a cap in the referendum. So if you ask for 4, you might only need 3.2, and that's all we would take, would be the 3.2.
Yeah, and that's where, that's gonna have to be, when we go up for the question, we'll have to have the amount by then. But we're still waiting on some things from GMA, and, I mean, those are discussions for another day. Today's discussion is for the next agenda, is this who we're moving forward with? And I believe we are, so we'll cross the rest of these bridges in the upcoming meetings here over the next month or so. Alright, Illinois Public Risk Fund Workers' Compensation Site Visit and Assessment is enclosed for the review. This was our annual review of worker safety procedures. Number 6, village hires a new part-time clerical employee, which we have here. Jeanette, would you like to introduce our?
Sandy, would you like to stand up? This is Sandy Rukavina. She's our new part-time clerical employee. She started today, and she's going to start out by working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 hours each day. Those hours are flexible at any time if she has appointments or whatever. But she's jumped right in, and we're impressed so far, so welcome.
You're welcome.
Alright, and that concludes our
Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, trustee Giannotti.
JMA explains their proposal in more detail. There was a question as to how the fee breakdown, and this explanation is enclosed. So they're able to answer that question and clarify that for us. Work has now begun on the renderings for the building, and the committee will meet periodically to review the drawings and provide guidance. The goal is to have the renderings by September. And then also the update on the splash pad video camera. It has been installed and is fully operational. And this is good because although there's been cold weather, we got warm weather coming, so able to keep an eye on what's going on down there. We had any issues yet, Chief, or?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, we have them coming back, we have the electrician coming back this week
Okay.
for the camera because, we found out that our antennas were, outdated and we need to have antennas. It's recording right now, it's doing everything we wanted to do, but we can't get it at the police station. We're coming back out this week to put the new antennas on, and that's what I called you about there regarding, the fund to pay for that. So, it was more than we expected.
And that concludes my report.
Alrighty. Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, trustee Stacy.
Thank you, Mayor. The building department monthly report is enclosed for review, and the village administrator has issued 2 variances for fences in front yards on corner lots since the new ordinance was passed. Both applicants followed all the rules, and that concludes my report.
Public Safety Committee, trustee Terry.
Thank you, Mayor. The police department's monthly report's enclosed for your review. Chief, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, last Wednesday was, the wake for Dennis Tagenhorst, and, all of our full-time officers came on their own time, with the exception of Aaron, Dakota's wife had emergency surgery, and only one part-timer was missing. They were in their dress uniform. You all would have been impressed with them. So I appreciate the dedication of the officers and, dedication to Dennis too for all the work that he's done for the city. And I want to thank Bob too, who put together, Dennis worked for 3 different departments. He put together the Beecher end of it, so thanks Bob Heim. We gonna talk about the grant, or do you want me to do it?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. We put in for a grant to pay for our in-car cameras that we've already purchased, and we do need another one, and I talked about it, how to fund it for the new squad car. We were notified today that we actually are gonna receive the grant. They're not sure if we're gonna be partially funded or fully funded, but I think we'll be full. My guess, knowing how they work, is I think we would be fully funded because our grant request was very modest. We wouldn't ask for a lot. and some of the people put in for hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think ours was under 100. So I think that they might fully fund it. I sent you all an email today about the flock cameras. I think, you know, we're not paying for the flock cameras right now because the state is stalling efforts to get the permits approved, as they always do. And we don't pay any money until all the cameras are in. So we've had them for all this time, but, you know, the flock cameras Saturday night really were worth their weight in gold because we had 2 cars broken into, 3 reported, 1 didn't want to report because none was taken, but they would have broke into 12 to 15 cars if our officer didn't show up right away. So what we think happened is that they actually dropped them off before the officers saw them, and they were in the neighborhoods. So the officers were chasing them out of town. I use that term loosely, chase, because we don't chase, you know. And we know the results of the chase. They always end up bad for innocent people. But the flock cameras are really, really.
How did Flock assist with,
What's it?
how did Flock assist the officers with this in this case? Was it stolen?
It gives you immediate alert on your cell phone.
Of what, a stolen car?
Of a stolen, it gives you a stolen car, stolen plate, kidnapping, whatever the situation is. It immediately comes on your phone.
So these people were in a stolen vehicle out.
They were in a stolen vehicle. Now, I will tell you that the stolen plates, I get 10 to 15 a day, because when somebody has a lost or stolen plate, they report one of the plates stolen. They go through our cameras with the other plate on, and then we stop the car, and, you know, so, but the stolen car is a different story. And the other things that come out through Flock are serious crimes. People wanted for serious felonies. It's really, and it's immediate. When I say immediate, I think it's within a minute or two they'll notify you. So they may have been in town a minute or two before it even alerted us on the cell phone. And then it took a minute or two for the officer to get there too. They happened to be right, or both officers happened in that area anyway.
There was another story, they issued a silver alert for somebody that had Alzheimer's disease, that got behind the wheel of the car and took off. Didn't know where they were going. They heard the plate in the Flock, they had the guy in an hour, and they got him safely back home.
That's great.
To his wife. So that's another, it doesn't have to be criminals, it could be anyone that's suffering from, you know, mental disorder.
Update on the hiring, we have one of our candidates all finished. He's starting on the 20th. And Jeanette agreed to swear him in on the 20th. We'll do a formal presentation the 27th at the board meeting. He's passed the background and his psychological, his polygraph, and his medical. Second candidate is scheduled for his psych, poly, and medical. And we're in the process of doing his background right now. And we have a third candidate that will be starting as soon as we get halfway done or so with the second candidate. We also had a part-time candidate, and then initial background and determined that he would not be suitable. So we don't have any other part-time candidates right now. We have an officer that we interviewed before that we are ready to hire, and he doesn't want to leave his department right now because he doesn't want to leave them short-handed. And I guess that's pretty noble, but we need him too, you know. So I told him, let me know as soon as he's ready, and I think he will be coming over. And he's a truck specialist.
And also too, when I'm thinking about it, this Wednesday is the law enforcement torch run. At 12 o'clock, we'll be staging at the CVS parking lot. The only, I wouldn't call it an issue, but our run time will vary depending on how fast and how slow the runners started at 8 o'clock in the morning, whether or not, so we'll kind of be, I guess, fluid with our time, but we're expecting the run to start between 12 and 1. And then that will run up here to Penfield and then down to Zion Church.
It's gonna be like 95, so it might end right here, I think.
And we posted it on Facebook too. Anybody's welcome. If there's, kids that wanna hop in and, ride their bikes or whatever, it's kind of it's a community event. So, based, it's not just the law enforcement's running, but you can actually run with the law.
Do we have to wear the orange shirts? Or?
No, I don't think you have to wear
Yes,
those.
you do.
Unless you really want
Say
Um,
anything.
But yeah, so, the EMA monthly reports are enclosed for review. Director Ham, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we're still looking for a couple of dedicated volunteers. They must be 21, they must have a valid driver's license, they must live within the Beecher Fire Protection District, and they must pass a background check. So we're looking for a few dedicated volunteers, so. That's it.
Thanks, sir. The code enforcement monthly report, is enclosed for your review. The chief touched base with the full-time investigator with Officer Tom Beck resigning, and on the 17th is his last day. And then Curtis Ingram will be starting on the 20th. And then you also updated us with our part-timers as well. And then the status of our new patrol vehicles. One was ordered, we ordered that last winter.
We were supposed to get it, in April, we weren't gonna take possession of it till the new fiscal year in May. And, it was made, a month ago, it was scheduled to be made a month ago. And I talked to the salesman, last week, and he said, now, it looks like it's gonna come in July, but due to all the backups and, parts and everything, I'm not counting.
Probably sitting at Belmore Racetrack.
Yeah, right.
There's not without chips.
And the second car that we were looking
We
to
can't
purchase,
order-
not
we
taking
can't even-
orders until September.
Can't even order that one until the fall, late summer.
And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Okay. Public Works Committee, trustee Kraus.
Thank you. Public Works, Water Department, and Sewer Department monthly reports are closed for review. Penfield Street SCP update, bid opening will be this Friday, June 17th. Village has officially requested an additional $352,000 in federal funding for the project, which we believe will be approved. However, the village's share remains $1,229,000 and $983,200. This will be due in August. The village will borrow $650,000 in MFT anticipation notes as previously planned, and pay the remaining $333,200 out of MFT reserve. We are still on target for this financing scenario. Bob, you got anything more, or is it?
Yeah, that's if all the numbers come in at engineer's estimate. If the bids come in over engineer's estimate, that those extra costs are gonna be on us. And then the Public Works Committee's gonna have to have a meeting and decide, A, do we pay the extra money, or B, do we make cuts to the project to make it work? So we won't even know what to do until Friday at 4 p.m. this week. I'll send out an email once I find out.
Anybody have any questions about that, Penfield? Consider payment in the amount of $474,486.17 to M&J Underground as partial payment for the Gould Street Water Main project. Sorry, I forgot. Water main.
Like water.
I don't remember reading that the first time. Sorry, water main project. This first amount is coming completely out of the grant award. It is recommended that it be approved for payment, and there is an enclosed invoice. So I'll make a motion for payment in the amount of $474,486.17 to M&J Underground as partial payment for the Gould Street Water Main project.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Kraus,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Gianni,
Yes.
Musician,
Yes.
Caprows.
Yes.
Gould Street Water Main update, as of right now, we're in target for being off Gould Street in time for the 4th of July parade. Either Penfield or Indiana Avenue crossing will be closed at that time. This will not affect the parade, but will affect traffic patterns. The project continues to progress. Do you have a status report?
Yeah, the trickiest part of the project outside of going under the railroad tracks is gonna be connecting to the water tower. We have a meeting at 2 p.m. on June 21st, Tuesday, at the water tower to lay out that portion of the job. Now, we're off Gould Street at that point, but there's a lot of intricate work that has to be done to squeeze a new main in there and get it to hook up to the tower without losing the water tower. So, it'll be a fun time. But we're gonna keep the tower online all the time, turn a valve, old main off, new main on, tower still on. That's the plan.
What time's the meeting back?
2 p.m. Tuesday the 21st. I think it's 2. It's either 1 or 2. I think it's 2 o'clock.
Dixie Highway, water main replacement design work is nearing completion. Both projects will be ready for bid by the end of the summer. Once we know Gould Street main replacement is fully funded without additional surprises, we can then focus on these two projects. Well 5 generator update. This project has been put on hold due to the dramatic cost increase for the generator, which placed the project way over budget. I did talk to Matt today, said, I think the original budget was about $35,000, it was just shy of $10,000 over. And William Beal, like, it was on hold, I think, for 48 or 49 weeks, so they didn't know if we get it this fiscal year. So I know he's back tomorrow, I'll talk to him, see how he wants to proceed from here, but, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? Lead service line replacement project is nearing completion and restoration work has begun.
Yes, we have some side restorations that have failed. There are also some side restorations that are not complete. Due to the weather, decision was made this afternoon that we would not lay any more sod until September. So people are gonna have to be patient because the chances of sod taking in this weather is not good. So we're gonna wait till September and do a complete restoration on that project in those areas that the sod has failed or has failed. They have 15 B-boxes yet to locate and to check, and then that project will be done. But we have, for example, we have one buffalo box we can't find. We believe it's grown into a tree, and the B-box is actually in the tree trunk. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to replace this lead line that's in the tree trunk, and what we might do is just start from the foundation of the house and run a new line to the main. Because I don't think it's worth even trying to deal with the tree trunk. Because it's gonna bust, eventually that pipe's gonna bust anyway. So, that's just one example of what we're running into in the project.
Curb and sidewalk replacement program update. Identification of areas in need of replacement have begun, and this project will go out for proposal after the 4th of July holiday. And that is all I have.
Okay. Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee session.
Thank you very much. Discussing the results of the last two concerts in the park on June 4th and June 12th. As we are in the learning phase in our first year of these events, it is important to receive and to discuss the feedback amongst the board members. So first off, June 4th, we had Iron Horse. June 12th, we had Rise to Sled and Jazz Fusion. So I think I want to start by saying thank you to Joe and Roger for being the on points for Iron Horse. And then Joe and Roger again, but different Joe, for being on point for Rises. And of course, extra thanks always to Joe for going out there and setting up the, all the logistics of the stages and whatnot. Iron Horse, I think that was like a phenomenal turnout. I think I saw pretty much everybody there. I think we counted around 450 people, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So that was massively successful. I think our best concert yet. The music was phenomenal. Really great.
And stayed an extra, what was it, an hour late?
Yeah, it wasn't a whole hour, geez,
Stayed
wow.
an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and
The
then,
food truck rolled into town.
Food truck?
The Brinks truck rolled out of town.
yeah. The food truck, I think, was the tough part on that one. Obviously, we had a hard time coordinating that in the first place, but I think we learned for, a popular event like that one, we're gonna need more food truck capacity, I'll say, in the future. It was popular, but I think, just bottlenecked, basically.
Yeah.
As far as Rises went, the band was great. The turnout could have been probably significantly better. I think we at best had 50 to 60 people show up on Sunday. So although the music was good, I'm not sure, I don't know if it's the genre, the time, or some other condition. But, we could probably have improved on that one. Any feedback anybody else like to give on those two events?
And you're always fighting graduation parties and things like that too. So.
They were good, they were very good.
Yeah, they were good. Just colder weather.
And I think the cold too, because I even broke out the hoodie sweatshirt.
The other thing might be looking into splitting the weekends a little bit further apart. I know a few people. I was actually talking to Bob about it this afternoon, and he mentioned maybe doing it back-to-back weekends like that. People are trying to catch up on their yard work. They skipped out on the Saturday before, trying to catch up on the following Sunday. So maybe if we separate them out a little bit more or something like
Distance.
that.
I agree. I would
Yeah, a couple
taking that
weeks
thought
apart.
too.
Might be a little beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we definitely been seeing better turnout too, where we've been offering food and drink.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something to keep in mind for future too. Next concert will be July 2nd, the Pearl Jam Tribute Band. I think we're all on deck, as I understand it, to help out with the fourth that night, I think.
Yeah, if everyone's got a little bit of time, I can go over the logistics of that after. If you wanna just, basically we talked to the beer committee for the 4th of July, and around 5 o'clock, we have the first band starting, so we could have around like 4 to 5 people for that, and then about 7 when Pearl Jam comes on.
Is that Saturday?
That is the Friday, Saturday, yeah,
No,
that is
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, so
It is Saturday.
we have beanbag that day, so
Yeah,
the beer tent will actually be open.
yeah, so that's why we're thinking about 5 o'clock, like between 4 and 5.
What time do
4 to
bags
5
start?
people. The bags start earlier, but the beer committee thinks that they'll be able to cover that. If someone wanted to come out earlier, the bag tournament starts at 2. So if, you know, if 3 people wanted to come around 2 and go until like 7, and then we'll need somewhere between 8 and 10 to cover both sides of the beer trailer when the Pearl Jam
I
band
think there
starts.
should be enough of us commissioners running around to run the beer until
Yeah, so
6,
that's,
7 o'clock.
that's why we were figuring 5 to 7, if we have 4 to 5 people, and then from 7 on, 8 to 10, and then if, we had enough volunteers worked out amongst ourselves and family and friends, we could cover the chip booth, you know, with 3 people kind of rotating in the chip booth.
No, Sunday.
I know last year trustee Cheery kind of did the chip booth, and, you know, he's familiar with that, so.
I hope it's chip booth too.
Exactly, so you guys were in and out, so if, I think 3 people to be kind of rotating on the chip booth and stuff like that kind of works out
Unless it's a
well.
hot day.
Well, I think we all got
Maybe
our
spouses coming too, right?
Yeah,
Well, is that, are you gonna,
so I'll get a
Just
sign up
put
from
together, like,
everyone,
yeah,
yeah, I'll
like
get a
a
sign
sign
up from everyone and we'll get the
just
logistics
there's
of
times,
that
I
worked
mean,
out.
I know, like I said, I brought a few last year, they're bugging me about coming back this year.
Yeah,
We'll
so-
see, if we don't need them, I'm not gonna bring
Yeah.
them. but we
I
need them.
think on that night, especially with it being the unofficial, like, reunion night, the crowd is always anticipated to be higher, plus from what I've been hearing from people, they're kind of excited to see this band, and they have a very good following as well, so I think the crowd will be, pretty big, so we're gonna need all hands on deck, so. But yeah, whatever time you guys can afford to offer, just always more than happy to, accept the help, so.
What time does it look to midnight?
Yes, your last call's 11:40.
And then for your August band, you've got the Lions Club handling that one.
Food,
Right, yeah, that's the,
Yeah.
beef roast. if I
Lions
recall.
Club will have food, they'll have beer, there's a possibility of wine tasting floated around.
Yeah, that would've been.
They're still looking
good.
different.
Still working on that, so,
Okay,
but yeah, it's their
And Labor Day weekend's 4th of July again, or is that who's doing it, or they?
They're having, that'll be just roll with it
Mhm.
for the Summerfest. Then there is the Easy Tone
Easy Tones, yeah,
Polka,
that's
which
the
is,
Second
Okay.
Sunday in August,
yeah, it's August 14th.
And that's Polish food, right?
Yeah, we'll have Polish food, we'll also have beer served at that, beer, pop, and water for that, along with food. And then, Memorial Day weekend is September 3rd.
Yes.
Labor Day, I'm sorry,
Do you
Labor
have
Day
something set
weekend.
up for that one?
We have, we're gonna have food down there, we'll have that finalized, shortly. And then that'll be, critical UVs. will be
Yeah, 'cause I
that
heard
night.
4th of July was put on standby for that one.
Yes, so we're
Just in
finalizing that,
case.
so. We're finalizing out those details, but there will be food and beer at the next, 3 events that are outside of the 4th of July.
Yep, so we are in the home stretch on the concert series for the first year, so hope everybody can make it out to enjoy the remaining events. And that concludes, oh, yes.
Does it look like we'll be able to have a band for, the National Night Out?
Probably not a band, but I got a DJ on for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
One or the other, because you've got funding for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a few of the bands, it's just the time slot, getting down there and set up, and that time slot's kind
DJ will
of
be
tough.
fine.
So, we will have music for you.
Is the public safety chairman right, Oreo cookie stacking and all
We
that
got,
stuff?
Duncan, I'm sure.
I still hear about the Oreo cookies thing.
Well, that was a Dennis and Bob show, but we can, I'm sure Bob has got it.
Kids love that stuff.
I'm sure Duncan Holes will be there.
Is your cook gonna show up too for hot dogs, your chef?
You're asking a lot.
Chef Jonathan?
You're asking a lot. We'll see.
Chef Sean.
Yeah, we'll winners.
I got a rematch of the, Bozo Cups, Bozo Buckets, the mayor, the clerk, and the treasurer. You're defending champion.
Yeah,
This year.
that's right.
Behind the camera, she's ready to defend her crown.
Right?
About to get beaten.
Alright.
Alright, so I think that concludes my
Move the
report.
report. Alright. Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? Alright, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second? Motion and a second, roll call.
DeBros,
Yes.
Bezasha.
Yes.
Giannotti,
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Summertime is great.